Oh hey, my name's Eli. This is my home. Today I've just been asked to kind of like give a little bit of my testimony, and I have quite a bit to it. But a part that I was feeling like I wanted to share personally was just kind of a time in my life where as I was thinking over our current situation, kind of realized that this isn't the first time that I've been in isolation like this. And so actually the quarantine reminds me of when I was kind of age range between 10 and 15. My mom had passed away at that point. All my brothers had moved out. I have 4 older brothers, but the age range is pretty wide, so they'd all moved out. And my dad was either really busy with work or just doing some other stuff that he had planned, and so I was kind of left home a lot. And it honestly, it brought some really depressing and lonely moments, especially since I was homeschooled. I just spent a lot of time by myself. And at that point I didn't really have a relationship with God quite yet. I knew who He was, I was growing up in the church, but I didn't really know who He was. I kind of knew up here, but in my heart I was still kind of vacant. And so I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about how God actually met me in that moment, and how I saw His provision and His love when I didn't really have parents at that time. He was still taking care of me. There was a couple things that come to mind. For example, finances was really hard, and so it was kind of, I had a couple miraculous things happen where I was very introverted and very shy, and I wasn't comfortable with sharing what I was going through. Of course, I was young, but I had a couple people who didn't really know me that well. They didn't know, they definitely didn't know what I was going through at the time. But they came up to me and they're just Eli, I don't know why, but I think you need this. And they would give me $100 when I was 13. I wouldn't trust any other kid or someone my age with $100. I wouldn't just ever hand them that. So that was super weird to me. At the time I didn't think much of it, but then I had other people coming up to me and be I don't know why, but I was praying and I feel God wanted me to ask you if you need groceries. And so I was like, well, that's super weird. I do. At the time I was just dang, that's convenient. But God really started meeting me in a bunch of other ways as well. I went to this conference, and that was where I saw my first healing. I saw someone's leg actually grow longer, which was the weirdest thing to me. And so that's when I was okay, this is something much bigger than I am. And so from that point on, I really started diving into the Word and just realizing. I did a lot of imaginative prayer, and kind of just going back to those old traumas and those old memories of just realizing that every step of the way God was there, being the perfect father that I never had, being the mother that I never had. He was just kind of there for me, and He took care of me, and He just raised me like He would a child. And so when I think of evidence for a God, I think of the way that I was raised when I was younger. Thank you for listening.